what's up? Hey, I'm just hanging out on the... Oh no, help me!
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem. Under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY, I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me, or I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me, or I'm a man.
Chase dreams, I'll chase money. It's so funny, nothing you can take from me. I chase dreams, I'll chase money. I go dummy, everybody hate to love me. I chase dreams, I'll chase money. It's so funny, nothing you can take from me. One deep, la sweet, la honey. I go dummy, everybody hate to love me.
You talk big, but your wallet's thin. Claim you're winning while I cash it in. Your schemes are weak, your pitch is lame. I'm stacking gold, you're playing games. I'm getting paid while you're just scammers. Swinging fake dreams like broken hammers. Flashing your lies like neon glamours. But I see through your cheapo banners. You sell the moon, but can't pay rent. Your big ideas just came and went. I'm counting checks while you pretend. Your pyramids crumble in my climb will end. I'm getting paid while you're just scammers. Swinging fake dreams like broken hammers. Flashing your lies like neon glamours. But I see through your cheapo banners. You hustle air, I breathe success. Your phony tricks are such a mess. I'll toast your wins, you fake distress. Your con's exposed, no second guess. Your empire's built on plastic pride, but truth's a wave you can't outride. I'm stacking real while you divide. The house of cards where you reside. You'll beg for mercy from coast to coast, saying where's that villain we hate the most. I'm masked up and on the attack. Verbal walk-bys filled with facts. Yeah, I'm getting paid while you're just scammers. Swinging fake dreams like broken hammers. Maybe you intimidate your friends and kin, but when I play to win. And here we are, right at the end, with your game of cheap pretend. Nothing about your world is real. A plastic person that suits to feel.
It must be lonely to sit on a throne made of silence, built not with trust but with lawsuits and threats. Fall like nails to boards, shut the mouths that know you best. How sad is it to turn your name into a weapon, to aim at your own kin, your own crew, your own clients, just to keep the truth from catching daylight? But see, truth don't bruise, it burns, and maybe that's why you run from it. Why you hide behind courts, behind contracts and clauses, as if a signature can undo a sin. Because truth is kryptonite, and you ain't made of much steel to begin with.
Yeah, I'm getting paid while you just scammers, swinging fake dreams like broken hammers, getting messed up for what I love the most, wrecking lawyers on these streams I host.
It's your time.
All right, what's up, folks? Look at that. No mic problem today. Man, whatever will I do? How's it going, folks, today? Man, a lot of stuff that has gone on in the last couple of days. You know, I really was planning something different for today. You know, I had a video I wanted to go over, but I can't help it when we find out some of the most amazing stuff that has been going on. You know, we find out we have some discussion about the RV, for example. You know, what happened with it. We have posts that seem to indicate that there is no accounting of how much money has actually been raised before as far as LP is concerned. She seems to be indicating, I have no idea about that. That seems really interesting there. And hey, what's up with that's great. I'll come back to this too, but congratulations as well. That's awesome. 36 years there, man. That is awesome. I think the people who have who manage for quite some time, it's just it says a lot about them, about their relationships and more. So congratulations to both of you. That's a heck of a long time and amazing there too. Give me a drink real quick. So we have somebody getting served. Oh, Jeremy Hale's popped off with a short on that, and also we had some really interesting stuff that popped off with the donor money. You know, as far as the donor themselves. Last night, I saw some clips. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" First of all, we saw Only Me, the donor. Now, let me note something too. With people in the chat, if there's any problem with somebody, if you do not like dealing with them, you can block them yourself too. Just to note. Okay, I hope everybody does realize that, because some people are not fun to deal with. So if you find a person you do not like to deal with, you yourself can block them, and sometimes that's better, you know. But I'm just noting that just to say, you know, no connection whatsoever. But you can for sure, and if you're not going to have people get the latitude that they've had over in Crazyville either. You know, we found out yesterday, for example, that yes, they confirmed money did indeed buy somebody a pass where they can do whatever they wanted for the longest time until they thought they couldn't get any more money out of them. Now after that, I guess they finally gotten to the point for sure where they're like, we're not going to get any more money. But what was crazy about it was they were screaming at this guy, and the things that they screamed. They told him, for example, he said he had tried to get contractors multiple times. 3 times he tried to get them to get a contractor in. You know what their response to that was? That if he wanted a contractor, quote, he should have sent more money for contractors. That's right. He should have sent more than $56,000, baby. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Imagine that. I mean, they went from man, $56,000, everything can get done to you should have sent us more money. Like, no joke. They were like, they're essentially calling this guy cheap. He's like, hey, I gave this money. And when it done professionally there, that's why you hire a contractor. Instead, we had some walk-off on the land by somebody that really is not supposed to be doing that, are they? On top of that, they were like, man, you know what? I'm working with a very, very strict budget. I'm telling you. the stuff we've been hearing now is what, a Christmas? We're gonna see some progress by Christmas. Also, you remember the banner thing? Remember they sold banners? Well, they blamed the banner thing on the donor too, because apparently the donor thought that this is according to them. The donor probably thought they would have looked tacky, which they would have. They would have looked pretty damn awful. I have to agree with that. But even if they would have looked like absolute trash, they still sold banners to people. They sold them the idea that they would have banners that were displayed. Well, they blamed not putting out banners on the big donor. That's right. They were like, you pressured me not to do it, therefore. Oh my God. It was something, man. Some of the clips for that one alone. I couldn't believe the greediness, to some of that. Yeah. Carrie, yes, she did. 2L told only me that he had never told her that the money was targeted for LP's home. And that's garbage. He made it clear multiple times. They also said that there was never any direct statement saying that it was for a playroom, that other money was for a playroom. And there's screenshots of that. So, for them to lie, it's just at the point, I get to this point of what are you actually telling the truth about? After a while saying these folks lie, it seems pretty redundant, much like breathing, they're lying, really? Oh man. What I have to say though is, what happened with the accountant thing? He said that they had an accountant that had looked through things. You remember that? Well, actually, let's not assume that you do remember this. Let's go about it this way. There was an expose talking about the background of certain ecosystem folks, scamming and the like. After that, you had big money man say, hey, what's going on with this money? Because it's a lot of money. What's going on with these projects? Like, what are you doing? Can we get an accounting of what's happening? Now, instead of treating that in a decent way, you had 2L decide picking up the microphone was the way to go and going on another person's channel and talking all types of mad smack. Now, the narrative changed many times throughout. The narrative changed from amount of money, for example. There was no money, then there was all the money, then there was part of the money. Now we're back down to, I think, 18K was the notation on that. It's all moved around here and there, but there have been other narratives that have changed throughout it too. The one constant, though, is they've not delivered. And even if they deliver something, how much money do you have? Again, even people like Ray, like I said yesterday, are saying money's low. But a couple of months ago, I'm going to say, my timeline's a little off on this. I have to go back and look at the exact date. You had the donor come back and say, I had my accountants look at this and everything's good. Huh, okay. Well, then apparently it's become not good again. So my question is, what was that about? What exactly did that mean? because now again, she screamed at this dude. This dude had dropped, I'm talking serious coin on their channels. And now all the negatives are his fault. Everything is his fault. And you know, they let him run ramshot through their chats, go crazy. And I mean, he did, like, there were legitimate questions sometimes, and sometimes there was some pretty awful disruptive bullshit, you know. And I will make it, I let some disruptive shit fall yesterday because I want this person to hear what I'm saying. I will not tolerate it for very long, though. I will make that clear, too. I will ban them if they think they'll go the same way. They won't treat people like shit. You know, that's not the way this goes. I mean, I give some latitude there because I am interested in what they have to say about this stuff. And they have been misled 100%. At a certain point, when people are treating you like garbage all the time, you do have to wonder, though, whose fault is that? Whose fault is it? So we have that. We have Preston's new, and then we also have what's going on with the Fed 1 and Fed 2. We got a judge's order on the bankruptcy stuff. Interestingly, judge just outright ignored the footnote talking about the fact that you have had somebody saying that they're going to have a lawyer over and over and over and over again. That footnote was just totally ignored, like everything, because apparently you can disrespect a court and treat people like a fucking clown show. And I guess in certain federal courts, you know, rules need not apply. It's amazing. But we've got that today. So it'll be a really interesting one. Give me 1 second. I'm redacting something. I'm trying to make sure everything gets. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Now again, nothing has changed on the Fed 1, Fed 2. As far as, again, we told you exactly what would happen. This will give you a pause. You know, does that pause mean anything? No, it doesn't fix anything. In fact, it's probably a stupid idea. You know why it's a stupid idea? Because it gives people like Hales more time to find things, more time to actually figure out things that that should have been addressed. And why does that matter? Well, you saw how the 5-month thing worked out. You saw how the Shara mess worked out. You give the guy a couple of months to figure out some stuff with what's going on right now, and that may become interesting. Also, hey, what's up, Wheezy? Hey, let's see. Small donation night. Sorry, it isn't mine. No, you're great, man. Never think that, by the way. You know, I appreciate you all. You all show up. You all let me get on the microphone. It doesn't matter how how discombobulated I am. I always like that word, discombobulated. You know, I've had some weird days over the last couple of months. Like I said, I feel like I'm getting to a better place on everything. So hopefully we can get some, like I say, shorter video forms together too, to go along and complement a lot of this stuff. But I appreciate you all. This is your channel too, man. And you all let me host it and give me a lot of latitude on what I want to do, what I want to talk about, and the craziness. Speaking of crazy, did you see this? This was really interesting. And I'm sure we're going to have a little bit of talk about this today. And by the way, if you have not watched it, I'm going to ask that you do this. I'm going to ask that you go over to the Hale's channel. Man, they have shrunk the controls for this again. There we go. They keep messing with the controls on StreamYard, and it's annoying me. I was like, how do I blow this up here? But go over to What the Hales and make sure that you see this. You know, I feel like the shorts especially are not getting enough circulation. Like people are not seeing them. And this one is kind of interesting. So check this out. This is talking about, well, service off of one particular person.
Dodgy Robbie can dodge no more. He just led the process server on a high-speed chase around his town, Bushnell, for roughly 10 minutes, where he then called Sumter County Sheriff, where his wife works, and he had the sheriff pull over the process server. Now, here is the great part about this. Since he is actively evading service, he's now under Florida law. He's served. It's a done deal. As he posted early this morning that he's in Miami, it was all a lie. I've had 2 process servers there for the past 2 days, all day. And now he is legally served. The guy who said he was going to beat me up at his gate, the guy who said he can't wait for his deposition, the guy who said, cowards. They are cowards. Dodgy Robbie can dodge no more. He just led the process.
Isn't that crazy, by the way? So, I mean, when you think about it, you're talking about high-speed chase. There's the allegation of misuse of police. Oh, my gosh. I mean, if somebody has a connection there, they call up a place and they misuse police resources, that's a serious allegation. So we'll see what exactly comes of that. But I mean, you're talking about, again, people running from a process server, trying to get away and establishing, like, the person gets pulled over and they can prove that they were in the process of serving somebody and they did that. Man, that does, again, under Florida law, he's correct. That would mean that you are indeed served. That's so dangerous, though, too. What I've learned over and over again from a lot of this stuff is, well, besides the fact that I'm glad I'm not in Florida sometimes, that's a sad thing, too, Florida, I'm sure, has some great places, but some of these places sound like absolute not I want to go. And it's not a reflection on the people. I'm sure that there are great people, as I've said many times, in Otter Creek. I'm sure there are very good people there. But this craziness and some of the things that have popped up there, they give me the heebies. I'm like, yeah, I don't want any of that in my life. So I think that about stuff like this, again, that could have turned into a very dangerous situation, and it could become a dangerous situation in the trying to lead people in a high-speed chase. It could become a very dangerous situation on getting the popo involved. Again, on top of that, I'm curious about the call in. I would definitely request a Freedom of Information Act request just to see exactly what was noted with that. If there's a call in and it says, somebody's doing this or doing that, there has to be a reason to get someone pulled over. So I'd be curious of that. But it's right here, man. that makes another one, and another one. Okay, let's look at the RV thing. Now, this is interesting because what this tells me, we have confirmation to a degree anyway about what has been happening with the RV. Now, why does that matter in any way, shape, or form? Well, first of all, again, there was a lot of money that is still sitting around, and I agree, there is not enough money to properly, you know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid if there's $18,000 that they're going to try to just roughshod the construction of a place. If they do any at all, they would try to throw a few bucks, like that fence, except people would be living in it. Could you imagine if that fence that we saw, if that were a domicile with that level, that degree of construction? Can you imagine? Man, what a mess. By the way, they were taking up money. This blows my mind. They were taking up money in Ray's name last night. Now, again, his wife is having some major issues, apparently. I would not wish that on anyone. But I do not understand why they are picking up money for someone else. And again, there is no accountability. How much money? Oh my God. Plus, if they would have set up a fundraiser instead of taking super chats like a bunch of dipshits with some of this money, they don't lose money off of it. Oh my God. All you got to do is set up a fundraiser on some of these platforms. Like some of these platforms, they don't give sit and go. They take next to nothing. You know, that's a big difference there. Versus YouTube taking a chunk out of that. I have yet to see any proof that anyone has said a negative word about I don't know her name, but his wife. I've yet to see that, you know, and I agree. Like people, there is no room for targeting families, but I do find it really weird. And I said a little bit on this, but I want to continue this idea. I want to stress this again. You notice, I agree with that idea, but Ray didn't. Ray didn't agree with the targeting of not targeting loved ones when George. You remember the whole quote unquote, she's faking cancer. You remember that narrative that they came up with? Yeah. He ran with that. He ran with that multiple times. Was that leaving loved ones alone? When he decided, not only, I mean, he was down with the revenge porn. Oh, he was totally down with it. In fact, there's an email from Darth Touch talking about that. And you have Ray being like, yeah, I'll check that out. You know, and it's like, good Lord, that's weird and creepy. You care about damage to people there? No. Did he have a problem with the doxing? No, he was down with the doxing. You know, the doxing of where Megan Fox's address was put out. Not only her address, but her husband, her child. I was totally down with that. Targeting little kids, like I said, 5 and 11-year-old, totally down with that multiple times to the point. I was like, man, that's creepy. Stop talking about little kids, man. That's very, very creepy, you know? And yet, again, now when it's personalized, it's that stuff's over the line. It's strange how that works, isn't it? It's just like accusations. It's the same thing when people are accused. You know, we talk about false accusations a lot. People that tell you to listen and believe. That's what you've been told all the time through the ecosystem BS. Listen to what's being said and just believe it, right? Just believe it, baby. It's all good to go. Well, when people themselves, they get accused of something, then they want evidence. They suddenly don't believe and listen and believe anymore. Suddenly it's different. It's the same thing with, you know, and the subject we're about to talk about with the money thing, where everything has gone crazy. Like I said, my prediction is that we will see something that softens this. Something. It hasn't gotten crazy yet. But like I've said before, if there is only 18 grand left, then there is a real problem, you know, and that money will disappear. And on top of that, you have this statement about campers. That would mean that while there's $18,000 sitting around, there was a repo of a vehicle. People, I'm sure, knew about that because they seem to know every damn thing else. And you know, they've had access to security cameras and more. So of course they know what's going on. And yet, off of that, nothing was said or done about the idea that if there's no vehicle. Now, this is an interesting narrative to it. And I would say, now she says, oh, we had mold problem. I gave it back. Okay, so you're saying that you had problems. It was trash. I mean, some of the stuff was absolutely trash. So you were like, take it. It's hard to believe that you would give up your domicile. You know what I mean? Like that seems a mite bizarre, you know. But okay, let's read what's actually said about this. Let's blow it up there. So check this out. Let me get a drink first. So to answer a question I've gotten from worker and messages about camper. Okay, so she's saying, now just to note this, she's saying that child services, and again, let me make this clear, do not contact anyone associated with child services or any government entity or anyone contacted or connected to this, anything. Don't contact anyone. Doesn't help. Don't, just don't do it. But she's saying that workers came and saw that, like, and they're okay with the way things are set up. It doesn't seem very. But anyway, I digress. All right. So, question they gotten from a worker and messages about camper. The camper was a lemon from the purchase date. So now, of course, we're going to have a story on that. But now again, if there were this many problems, by the way, with a camper, if there were problems from go with it, I'm sure that this person would have never shut up about it. They don't strike me as the type that keep that kind of thing to themselves. I mean, do they strike you as that? So not only would the giving back or the repoing of it actually be known to people sitting on money, saying that they're doing things for the best interest of a child, but they may have known that at all the time. And the reason I mention that is, how many months have you seen? In fact, actually, they said yesterday, too, they were going to get some work going on that thing, whether or not they had permits. It's like, wait, what? You're not going to apply for permits? You're not going to use a contractor? Holy shit. Oh, my God. This thing is going to be so dodgy. Did she remove her post from last night? Which one? No, there are a few. Actually, there's a few posts that were brought up, and I parked on the one about the video. There has not been a video. Let's say that. So there's another day. We were told we were going to have a video. That stuff is going to pop off, and yet you still don't have a video. So the camper, it was 2 years old. 2 years? It was only 2 years old, huh? So you got it? The toilet ball flusher would stick? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? My house does that. I have some easy flow toilets, and they had this weird little button design. Have you ever seen those where you have like two buttons on the top of the commode? You can push them, and they'll water save with one button, and the other button they'll do more. Well, they're old, they're old design. And those suckers, they are a pain. I had to go in the other day, and I had a leak out of one of the bowls. I had to go, I could not get the bolt loose in the back of the toilet because it's decades old by now. So I had to hacksaw the bolt off. I had to get one of those little mini hacksaws and cut it because I couldn't turn it. There was nothing that would turn it. Nothing would break that apart. I was like, I'll just cut that bolt off. So I hacksawed it off, had to replace it. But yeah, man, I mean, a toilet ball flusher? Are you kidding me? Those things, they are notorious about having problems. One of the things you can do is when you have problems, you can turn the water on and off. I used to do that all the time. I would turn the water off when there were less bathrooms in the house, just control it that way. But anyway, got ahead of myself there. So the camper is 2 years old. And once in it, so many things started to go wrong with it. The toilet ball flusher would stick all the time and make it run, and it flooded several times while not at home. You can fix this. The toilet ball flusher also, when it sticks, it's a simple fix. That is like one of the simplest fixes out there. If it's sticking, especially, I also would be curious about why it's flooding with just the toilet ball flusher. Why is that causing overflow? And I mean, if you got a leak, you can fix that too. I mean, it's not, these aren't hard things. And it's interesting, again, you know, is that true? Probably. You know, you probably have problems with stuff. But all these minor problems here, I'm sure those problems got brought up to 2L and the gang. And if they're brought up to 2L and the gang, they have all this money. They can't afford a toilet flusher. Are you kidding me? You know why? Because everything that was fixed, quote unquote, fixed, fence, all of this stuff, it was done where you could live stream the narrative. It wasn't something that was done out of the goodness of someone's heart. You know, it wasn't something that you didn't get headlines off of. Fixing a toilet ball would not get you headlines. You would not be able to say, look at me, how great I am. I fixed your toilet. But it would be a decent thing to do. And again, I'm very sure with the people they're dealing with here that they were probably very vocal about that. And I'll make it clear too. You know, where I've been talking about this, I would not, you know, only asked the other night, what about getting money together for these people? I would not give them a fucking dime. They have tried to ruin lives. They have a notorious track record. And they have a kid. I hate the kids in this situation, but it ain't making things better. There is, and I would not have given them tens of thousands of dollars. Having said that, it is their money. Somebody else gave it to them. It was supposed to be for in bettering their lives. And what's funny is they keep saying, so they kind of screwed up in this. They said that the money that was given didn't note that it was for a specific thing, like fixing the house. That's how they've tried to excuse using money, where they say they quote unquote used money for the fence, which is a bunch of garbage, by the way. You know, you saw how much money flowed in. But, and for the Christmas thing, which again, whatever. But what that does, it works a different way. What that says is it defeats the narrative that this money, it was given for fixing up the house. So they're going to hold it for that specific purpose. They just finished telling people. I thought about this yesterday. They were telling people that they weren't going to give her the money because it was for a specific stated goal, which would make it, by the way, a fundraiser 100%. They said instead, people gave it for, you know, they didn't give it to her for that. They gave it to her for this specific thing. And it's her, she's supposed to steward the money in the use. Well, then she says that's not what it was. When she's talking to Only Me, she's saying, you never said it was for anything specific. Okay, well, that means you raised money for, you know, like we've said, you raised general money, and it was for her. It's her money. They keep making the point for us, which is amazing. Let's continue. So, anyway, toilet flusher floods. So I bought the whole thing, took out the toilet, watched a video, replaced it. Well, that really didn't help. Even the repair guy said they're crap toilets. Pardon the funny. It flooded several times after the repair. Again, he must have had a terrible repair person for that. Holy God, man. I don't know how many of you folks out there have ever had to fix your own stuff. Again, you know, talking about being ingenuitive. My wife at one time, we had a problem with the washer. You know, we had an old school hardcore washer, and the guy that we called about, you know, getting it fixed, quoted us an insane price. We're like, oh my God. So we checked around. All the people were quoting this insane price to fix, you know, for labor and stuff. She was like, you know what? The issue here it sounds like it's this this minor issue. You know, you got to take it apart though. You got to take the whole interior out of it. And there's a video online that'll show you how to do it. So that happened one day. Took the whole freaking thing apart, and guess what? It worked. So that is pretty amazing. You know, you can do a lot of stuff yourself. I wonder how many of you have done projects. I'm sure you do them all around your home, you know, or whether it's rental or whatever. You know, you've got to do your own stuff sometimes, but especially with toilets. But the water caused severe damage to upper side of camper. Then the hurricanes with rain that blew the water in just right on the slide, and it grew the blackest mold that looked like dirt piles. Now, you do have to watch black mold. That is indeed true. You can actually put some this wonderful substance on it called kills. You know, that will take up your mold. You can remove mold, cut it out if you need to, but you can also apply stuff and you can kill that mess. But even cleaning it, it came back. My headaches and sinuses were bad. We were told by a mold company to get out of it ASAP. That's what we did. So now it's about, they didn't have it repoed, even though we have a document that talks about it being repoed, right? That's the little issue there. You know, with all of this wonderful story, if you want to believe it, there is a document that says repossession. So, yeah, probably not the best narrative ever. You know, some people were like, yeah, the narrative, you know, maybe that's true. Well, maybe there was mold. Maybe there was water problems. But it wasn't a, you know, come get it, we're good to go. No, it listed as a repossession. 100%. So I did not want my little girl sick from mold. The camper had also developed an electric problem. We replaced the main brain. Then it started shocking us after a bad storm. What in the world? Where's all this punctuation coming from, by the way? Look at this. I was over it, comma. When did you see her use commas? What happened here? Who wrote this? What's going on? I feel misled here. Something's wrong. There shouldn't be commas in this. Abort. I was over it. I called the bank and said, come get it. Why don't you come get this thing? No big secret. No big deal. I simply didn't want my baby sick. Point made. My question though is, like, did you get in a better situation? Aren't you back to living in a pretty cramped, pretty bad area? Especially given, I mean, again, those things couldn't have done better with all the rain and everything else that happened, right? Yeah, well, that's true, Jack's mom, too. Insurance and everything else. If you, Jay, oh, by the way, I want to note this, too. So, I've decided, I think this would be fun. What do you think about this, folks? I think that on Thursday, we're going to have the per se lawyer join us. That's right. I think him, whoever wants to come on, like Starcasm, and again, whoever with the Just J crew. I don't know. They've got to have a better name than that for themselves. That's terrible. I don't know. I'm sure that they have a much better name than that for themselves now, actually, I think about it. But I think it might be fun to have them come on and us goof off. We can have a little laugh track about the entire lawsuit debacle. We might call it, you know, I might call it lawyer. I might put it in parentheses, lawyer Rex, me getting sued or something like that. You know, with guest. It may be Jay. I'm bringing the whole law firm. You got to admit that would be pretty awesome, right? Oh my God, I think that would be fun. I like that idea though. Let me see. Thanks, Emmy. That's awesome of you there. I sound like I'm on Prozac today. I'm like, that was very awesome. Actually, I got sleep and everything else today. I feel like, hey, it's so bizarre. I'm not used to having all this. It's wrapping my brain. I don't know what to do. Thank you, Emmy. That's awesome of you for sure. Oh, by the way, I got something today, and if the little one comes down, she's taking a nap right now. You know, she wore herself out today, but she comes down and want to see her reaction. So today at the P.O. box, we got, she has her own avatar in comic book stuff, but she has never gotten like a present related to it or anything, you know. If you've never had anybody send anything, well, today she got a wonderful, cool looking, you know, those bead art pictures. You know, I hate to call them posters, but pictures, you know, framed up, looking magnificent. She got one of those sent to her today, and that will thrill her. So if she wakes up during this, we'll get to hear her reaction to it. If not, I'll have her retell it. But I think that's cool. Anyway, let's continue here. So I was over it, you know. Actually, let's get the electric problem. Actually, the camper also developed an electric problem. We have the main brains unit. It kept shocking us, so I was over it. I called the bank, said, "Come get it." No big secret, no big story. I simply didn't want my baby sick. Point made. I mean, when you look at that again, it was a big secret, though. It was, and you know. What really bothers me, again, these people have grifted repeatedly in the name of this kid, saying, you know, all this money has been for the betterment of this child's life. Well, according to Preston, they had a problem. That problem needed to be remedied. And they don't have living domicile. They were trying to find out, you know, what's really kind of fascinating about the domicile issue in question. Remember the narrative about buying an RV? It wasn't because there was a repo. It was because they just needed some more room. You know, so that's that's interesting. That's also, if it wasn't a big secret, then why was it a big secret? You know, and again, why wasn't this fixed? 18 grand. They don't have the money. If there is 18 grand left, they do not have the money to actually make the barn dominium livable. They will half-ass it. They'll half-ass it anyway if they don't bring in a contractor, a real one. It'll develop leaks and all kinds of other issues. But if they go in and they just slap up some wood frame, well, that doesn't fix anything either. And if they start doing it and they ask for more money, that in of itself poses a problem, you know, because again, they had quite a bit of money. And the steward of said money, it apparently is telling Lynette that there's a certain amount, although I get the feeling from Lynette's comments, she doesn't actually know how much money is there either. Check this out. This is wild too. So she's been liking and she makes another comment with this. I'll come back to the statement, but look at this. Check this out. So she actually left like on this. You can see her, and she makes a comment that bolsters this too. But look at what's being said here. Sorry to see this happen. In my opinion, you should have a detailed accounting of the money as it is your money. It's too bad that others see you're wanting to know about it as not appreciating what has been done. I can see that you appreciate it, and I can also see wanting to know about what's left, possibly put it to another use, since there isn't enough to finish the barn and you need a better place to live, like a trailer or motorhome. People are so quick to attack. So you notice the like on here. Now, what's wild about this is it's not a statement about, hey, I need a home. I need a fix for this issue, something more pertinent. It's also saying, I need a detailed accounting of the money, what's left, where are things gone. And you notice when things like that come up, there's a tax. Why doesn't Preston have a detailed accounting of where the money went? Why does she not know? Like that blows my mind. The freaking people, like the ecosystem folks there. You chatters over there, you don't want to know how the money was managed. We're told over and over again that the people that were connected to this, they somehow know where money went, but freaking Lynette Preston doesn't know. Are you kidding me? Again, that's the person you gave it to. Whether or not people have wanted to join the cult of personality of a person that doesn't show you shit and just yells all the time, that's one thing. But you gave money to this lady. Whether you regret it now or not, you gave it to her. You write it off. And you move on with your life, And it's her money. And if you really thought that it needed to go to immediate use, then maybe these people do need something in some immediacy. I mean, again, this goes to showing you, too. Honestly, throwing money at her situation will not fix it. Because there will always be something new. There will always be a problem. There will always be an issue. Also, another thing that gets brought up in this, too, is the idea that 2L paid for the taxes out of the kindness of her heart. She brought that up too. She actually says, no, that was paid for out of donations. So you had 2L taking credit for doing something that she did. Indeed, I thought that had been said, that she had gotten reimbursement out of it. And that's what we're being told is a confirmation. Yes, she took it out by Lynette Preston herself. So let's go back to that. But that's wild, isn't it? And I do agree. The thing that this tells me is it wasn't about. I lock that one. There we go. I didn't want to lock in on the right one there. What this tells me is it was never about helping a little kid. You know what it was? When I call them anti-Hales, that's what they are. They're not pro-HG or pro-LP or pro-JC. They are anti-Hales. They are the ecosystem. That is exactly what they are. They aren't built on helping anyone. They are out there built primarily to hate on this guy. And a lot of people got duped along the way. So, continuing. Now, we will work on getting engineers paid. I'll get the permit reinstated, and we'll learn how to frame, I guess. Wait, you'll learn how to frame? No contractor again. They're gonna have engineers so they can get some layouts and stuff. But again, you should have a contractor in there. What you're gonna have is some jacked up freaking build. There are also, again, some of the people that are attached to this. I am mortified by the fact that they just wrote off the. What did somebody have an issue with elderly people and construction, and they weren't supposed to do certain things? And yet we have money that is very close at hand. Well, what's that again? Oh, I don't remember. Do you? I mean, for real? Are you kidding me? I'm telling you, these people in that chat are the epitome of Marx and a con. And I feel bad for them. I do in a lot of ways. At the same time, I don't feel bad for some of them because some of them are just hateful as fuck, man. They are. But for those of you that believe we can build without a permit, the answer is a big no, you can't. Well, we heard last night that you actually can, Lynette. That's right. We heard that you can. So I guess this is some direct confrontation with that. So yeah, we heard that it was going to go forward with or without permits. You know, they were just going to do it. And Preston is right in this. You know, you can't do that. It's a big no-no. But they were like, oh, we're going to do that. We're going to go forward without permit. Again, I'll believe it when I see a finished project. Not a slab of wood laying in some a lawn or a freaking a toilet that's setting. By the way, somebody was showing me some pretty interesting stuff about chat logs. Or not chat logs, brother, but transcripts. It took me a minute. I was like, translation, no, transcripts. Transcripts of live streams. And in some of those transcripts, they talked about one of the promises that they made people is when they did projects like the fence, they would go through, they would film the entire thing being put up, and they would show you where their money went. They would show you and they would itemize and break shit down. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. They had a couple of griftathon sessions where they, were outside. You saw the ratty ass fence, but you didn't really see how bad the construction was. Because I think if you really saw, you might feel bad there. But if you do that, you're opening up the county being able to make you remove everything done without that permit. So you need the permit. That's the big bad truth. And that actually is the truth. You do have to have a permit. Not only do you open up the idea that everything could be removed, but on top of that, you open up the idea that you could have somebody tearing down what you build up as well. And that leaves you in a worse place than you were before, right? I mean, imagine any money being dumped into the barn dominium and then having to tear it out and getting fined in the process. That's kind of the barn dominium equivalent of bringing in a lawyer to your federal cases, right? You're left in a worse place than you were before. Now, on top of this, you had a promise of a video yesterday. Video not delivered yet. So I'm not holding my breath on getting a video either. If it happens, it happens, but I'm not holding my breath. In fact, I can just imagine the attempts at damage control that are going on right now, trying to get Preston back in line. Let's see. But she left some comments. And some of these comments are quite interesting. Now, I don't know. There was a couple that we read that I don't want to repeat, but also here I saw this. I see the coward that posted the threat of pulling down your fence deleted comment that if anyone threatens you or your property, take a screenshot and report to LCS. He's like, oh, I never saw it. Well, guess what? I did, and I kept it. That, by the way, is not made by Hales or anyone else. That is made by these people. That is made by the ecosystem. The ecosystem of hate. Because they loved her until, right? They loved her until. But check out, this is what's being talked about there. And it probably should be reported to law enforcement, by the way. When the ecosystem didn't get what they wanted, I mentioned this yesterday, but I do want to show you in context with that. This was what they took down. They were like, yo, why delete all your old posts, Michelle? You're worse than Shara. I want the money back I donated from your lawyer pool. I did not give you that money to sue Lisa with. You owe me $40. You owe Lisa thousands of dollars in money, hundreds of hours of her life lost to an ungrateful person. By the way, you don't think they got paid? Are you fucking kidding me, folks? They sit up there and do nothing. They put no effort whatsoever into showing. They just sit there and have a cry-a-thon or a yell-a-thon. I mean, again, the other night where they had their breakdown over money, I cannot believe people listen to that shit. It was not only just horrible to listen to sound quality wise, specific people wise, but there was a cricket in that thing that, God, if you have not listened to those again, you should listen to about 5 minutes of it. I think it's enough. It's like an audio hell. Oh no, I'm going to go insane through this. Now, again, I do agree with the person so far about not to sue with, but I think the money that they gave, the money for a lawyer, was actually misappropriated and misused. It was supposed to be for a Fed 1 lawyer, and they'll be asking for a Fed 1 lawyer. They still, as far as I'm aware, unless something happened, they were asking for an Ohio lawyer. It's almost like, you notice this stuff too. It's almost like their opinion wasn't based on reality. It was based on whatever 2L told them. So how do they fucking know that there weren't violations of a protective order? How do they even know what a protective order actually entails? You know, again, we've talked about indirect contact. Indirect, you do not have to make direct contact with the person. You also, if you're in a store or whatever, you give up the rights to be near a person. You have to leave. If the situation were reversed, they would understand that. But when you go through here, you've got about the bottom is where we're talking about the fence post. If you're going to turn on someone that quick, after all they've done for you, you never deserved the help you got to begin with. Again, so they feel that she turned on them. They feel that she lied. Wow, kind of crazy, isn't it? I'm awaiting your video. Never got a video, by the way. You certainly have a lot of explaining to do. If you notice a panel of your fence missing, just know I came and took it back. I took back the fence panel I purchased. I want that back too. Oh, but you know, they grace the kid. At least the kid gets to keep the things that they gave them. You know, it doesn't work that way, by the way. You gave it to them. Unfortunately, you feel grifted in. You feel like they took you for a ride. Well, they did. You got taken for a ride, suckers. You know, maybe apply that to the whole ecosystem and wonder again if these people, if you feel like they turn and they lie, doesn't that kind of, why isn't that an eye-opening event? I mean, why doesn't that wake some of these people up? Oh my God, I saw something funny yesterday too. Marla yesterday was like, I'm collecting the screenshots of Tug's chat, you know, because of only me. You know what, assholes? Sue me over it, because I will make sure, damn sure, that every dollar, we will find out how much money there really was. And I guarantee you money was mismanaged. I guarantee you that they don't have the balls to freaking sue me over that. Because like I said, I guarantee you, first of all, the way that they did it, period, and the people connected to it, oh my God. It could be like, hey, what's the record of this person? Why were they walking the property to assess how to put something up, like a contractor? Are they supposed to be doing that? What are these other people? What kind of criminality do they have? But they're also trying to catch the big donor. Again, they're gonna hate the shit out of that guy. But Marla begged him for money for the longest time. They went from begging that dude for money to being like, we're going to screenshot and catch him. we'll get those comments. You have statements. You know what's funny is they're trying to catch pro Preston comments. Like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, right now, we are talking about something again, as far as the money is concerned. We're talking about that yesterday. We were talking about pro Preston material. You would think they'd be all over that, but no, they're not. Holy shit. Oh, it's so wild, isn't it? Like in this instance, Preston's right. It's her money. Oh my God, we're gonna get you. What? I thought you guys, especially Marla's in the fucking bag for Preston most of the time. Well, what happened? Is it because she said that you guys haven't talked in a long time? That you aren't the pal that you pretend that you are? It's weird. I've never understood. Marla, are you desperate for approval, or is it worse than that? Are you desperate for a little bit of notoriety off of this? Like, what exactly is going on? Because again, Lynette's like, yo, we haven't talked for around a year. Oh, by the way, too, here's a funny thing. So adding on, I do want to add this on there too. So as far as the barn dominium and everything, another statement that keeps coming up is, I never wanted the responsibility of this. You just thrust it on me. Well, guess what? They have a refund button. You can refund if somebody sent you $20K and didn't want to be the steward of this project. Then you could have sent it back. But the thing is, it wasn't just out of the blue. Y'all kept talking about it. You were raising money for shit, and then somebody dropped serious coin on you for it. Now, suddenly, the serious coin, I don't think they ever thought they would get the kind of money. I mean, I was surprised that they found the one whale out there that dropped serious coin. The only one that was around for it. 1 second. But they turned it into a giant middle finger for that guy. Now, why would that be? Again, they could have a falling out or anything. That's life, whatever. Although the way it went down, wow, pretty nasty. Let me clear my throat. But to blame that person for sending money, they actually did the thing. One of the few people that really put their money where their mouth is. I mean, one of the people that actually put up, instead of shutting up, they put up a lot of money. And suddenly, now it's their fault. Everything went wrong. It's so bizarre to me. What it tells you again is they're reeling. They're trying to make another bad guy. And now the bad guy is this person again. Again, how many bad guys have they had in their chats? How many bad guys have they pointed at and said that person is a bad person? This person's a bad person. It's so bizarre. Again, a person like what was their name? Chuckles or Chucky, or I don't remember. Chuckles, or I think it was Chuckles. But that person, for example, what was their crime? They came over here and they actually talked in the chat. So when they won something and there was a problem with it in some way, shape, or form, they called them. They not only went after them, but they went after them by name again. They had multiple ones, but there's always this bad guying of people that are right there. It's like virtual cannibalism. It's like Pokemon gone wrong. You gotta eat them all. Wait, no. Crunchymon. No, wait. I watched that show the other day. You know that show Yellow Jackets? I don't know if any of you have seen any of that, but that show Yellow Jackets, it's about the plane crash with the soccer team full of girls. They have 3 seasons of it. I went in and watched it. The first season, I didn't feel like the first season had some odd stuff here and there, but it felt more teeny the second and third season, I was like, wow, this is getting really, it actually got pretty interesting. I liked it. It was like a horror show. I also like the fact that, that you can't really tell if these people are crazy or if there's something out there, you know, that's motivating them to do the horrible things they do. But it reminded me of what I just said, you know, about virtual cannibalism there. So it's your money and you're responsible enough to spend it. That's right. We were not given any cash. Look at this here. We were not given any cash, any money, any gift cards, anything whatsoever. Huh. That's weird. They say, now again, if that's legit, they weren't given any of that money. What's going on with it? So they weren't given any of the cash. They weren't given any of that at all. So all that money that has come in from all that time, like there is something wrong. Either, you know, either this is not true. And it does make you wonder again, like, where does Big Budget Dog come from? I mean, again, some things may be donated outside of that. They may be talking about that money, but they're saying, look, I haven't been given anything at all. No cash, no money, no gift cards. So this is, it should be a major issue with these folks. Their chatter should have a real problem with this. The people who gave money there should have a real problem with that. They either, again, they're camping up saying that this lady's a liar. And if she's a liar, then they should have a real problem with everything that's gone on so far, because they're making the point that other people have made all the time, that from Northport to now, that the amount of lies are just insane. But on this one particular subject of money, it's her money. You gave her money. If you have a problem with her, then she should have had it, you know, she still should have had it in her hand. It doesn't matter if you like her or not now. But suddenly she's a liar. Suddenly, she's not the only one that turned on somebody. Maybe that's reversed. Again, what do we see? It's just like with the only me thing. In fact, you trace this back to its beginning, and what you find, you actually see something stated about Element OP, and Element OP pops up in the chat and is like, that's a horrible lie about me. That's crap. You know? So you can, here's where Shara actually picked that up. Check this out. 1 second. You need to pick this up here. You can see there's where a lot of the mess kicks off. It is, hey, 2L, that is a lie. I never said that, nor would I. And you know damn well we are arguing about that right now. Shame on you. Oh my God. So, do they have a reason to burn a bridge there? Do they have 18,000 reasons to burn a bridge right there? I mean, again, that's, I don't know. But you're looking at it from the Lynette Preston actually burning that bridge. Does anyone else have a reason? Or again, 18 or more reasons that bridge could burn? Why are there so many efforts to keep concealed what exactly should be out there in the open? But not giving any cash, any money, any gift cards, anything whatsoever. And the person who made the fake call today said that we were given all of these gift cards and all these things. Yeah, no. You were gifted gift cards, whether you received them from the person who collected them in your name. What's really weird about that too is who set up the Amazon wish list then? Are you telling us that you didn't even control your own fucking wish list? Is that what you're trying to tell us? That the Lowe's wish lists and stuff, you had no control over that at all? Because that stuff was set in your name too. How many other things had gift cards? How many Amazon gift cards may have rolled in for the Christmas? I mean, again, these are a problem. These are huge accusations. These people, somebody's lying there. And either person who's lying should give these folks pause. It is nuking these anti-health people, like I said, because she is dropping bombshells on them. And she's saying, hey, yo, what's up? Stand in your truth. You see the likes, though. I was checking out the likes there. Now, this is the detailed accounting one, Again, the one I read, too. I thought that was mighty interesting. Let's see. I like the don't bite the hand that feeds you, too. 1 second here. There's the Lisa thing about the property taxes. She took it out of the money. So let's see what the statement is. Michelle, you and Lisa need to talk to each other. Keep this offline. Remember, anything you say will be used in a bad way by Jeremy and the Minions. It's funny, Jeremy and people that you associate with them weren't the ones talking about ripping the fence out of the ground, were they? They were the ones talking about how she doesn't deserve another damn dollar and to freeze her out, and she's a piece of crap and a liar and everything else. These are the things we were told make you a hate group. Huh. It's weird, isn't it? Don't give them more ammunition against you and Lisa. He wants to destroy both of you. Seems a couple of chat comments and a few fake emails is causing the problem. Oh, Jeremy is drooling. It's all Jeremy. I know you did not say anything about Lisa, and I know you're not suing her. That is just minion BS. Yeah, right. Came from people that you all are attached to. But hey, remember 2L said there were a bunch of people that she was speaking to that said that stuff was happening, that she was looking into her. So, if that's not true, that means one of these people's a liar. I know you didn't say anything there. Please talk to her, work it out. Just because someone sent her an email. She said multiple people, by the way. Multiple people. But no. It's apparently one person with multiple emails, right? But then when they go through here, you have folks talking about, again, let's see. I was looking, I saw the tags. I was trying to see the tags here. So this is the tag comes up. You have the, hey, check that out. I don't trust 2L anymore. I did, but I don't anymore. And this person said, why? 2L is not in charge of the barn getting done. Although the only reason anything has been done is because of her and the people who donated the money. Yeah, actually, you donated the money. Did she really do anything? Did she really? Besides trying to build a channel in the back of her. Okay. LP and John are responsible for getting their lives back together. Huh. Well, part of it was donated money, right? Not 2L. And that's true. I mean, it is their responsibility. Part of that is their money, though. So they could do that, right? I think she's done enough. Cool. Walk away then. Fuck off. Oh, wait. She's being sued over because it's not just, she didn't just step in. Oh, I was just trying to help a child. Uh-huh. These mofos, look how upset they get by somebody being called a liar. Imagine if somebody would have put up signs talking about how they were a PDF file. How mad would they be? What kind of anger would be expressed? Would you think that would have been appropriate? See, that's the thing. These folks have been totally good with burning down a guy's business, going after every contract that he has. And now they're willing to burn down fucking Preston too, right along the way. So it tells you. What do they really represent? Nothing. Represent nothing. So Lisa paid Michelle's property tax with her own money, not donations. Huh. Huh. So this is brought up down here. Thank you for what you just said. And thank you for showing me that people do believe me no matter what I said. I have no problem with 2L. Right. This is damage control right there. I have no problem except for the fact that I haven't gotten any money except for this person talks shit about me. I am not doing this, and I am not going to stoop to the level now when we get down here better. The level of saying or do anything hurtful to 2L. I'm thankful, I'm grateful for everything. But I will stand up. Here's always the but. But I will stand up for the truth always. Then you are mistaken. You know, this is the response to that person. You're mistaken. Lisa did not pay the property taxes out of her own money. She paid the property taxes out of donations, so that's not true. Huh. We're not responsible for doing the barn. The money that has been collected and given to Lisa is in her control. Nobody can work. Nobody can do anything unless Lisa approves it, pays for the engineer, and pays for the workers. We have no control over that. Absolutely none. Huh. And that would be what you're hearing, right? You know, as far as the barn or anything else, yeah. The money that was given is not in this person's hand. And again, how much money was given? Like, these fuckers don't even want to ask that question because it's not even naivete. It's much worse than that. It's almost like some of these hardcore weirdos. Remember, one day when you question something, you'll get turned on too. Enjoy that day when it happens. Then you'll be like, they were the devil all along. I'm not saying a bad word about 2L at all. But you're wrong when you say that we had control over it. And we would have had the money, had all of our resources for donations to the turtle rescue, been destroyed by many minions in our stalker. So if that not had happened, what is this? What does that mean? I don't even understand what this is supposed to say. Can somebody translate this? You know, we would have had the money, had all of our resources for donations to the turtles rescue, been destroyed by many minions and the stalker. So if that had not happened, what the tortoise rescue was destroyed? Well, what? I'm confused. What is this supposed to mean right here? Like, can somebody again translate that? I cannot understand that. Is she saying that she would have made money off the turtles had it not been for Jeremy? Is that what I mean? You know, mofos, again, you loved Jeremy when you thought you could put up that money box, didn't you? You thought he'd be great there. My God, man. This is an object lesson, by the way, for all you folks out there. When you think about doing nice for people, make sure that you're nice. You don't stop doing nice, you know, because you run into someone like this either, or these people, all of them, whoever, whichever one. I'd say all of them personally. But you don't just stop doing nice, but it does make you much more reserved. You know, much more. But we wouldn't be in that position that we are so many things and we are paying with our money and our child. Thank you. What? We wouldn't be in the position that we are. So many things we are paying for with our money. What money? Like, what are you paying for out of your, again, I saw your bankruptcy statement. I see how much money that you supposedly have every month. And again, the lion's share of your money goes to stupid off of that Jeep. Again, if you're going to have something in return, you should have returned that thing and freaking taken a month of money, or had somebody, again, you know, they were bragging about giving away vehicles on some of these channels. They could have given this woman a vehicle free and clear and got rid of that $700 freaking a month bill. Again, you know, because they used her name to do stuff. So why not give her a vehicle? Why not give her a car while you're at it, man? I mean, again, it's amazing. Like, you have all these issues, like they're matter of fact, like they're point and click issues that could be fixed. Ultimately, though, the real issue in these folks' life, why won't it fix? Because they're the problem. They're not going to make things better in there. You know, they moved out to fuck all. They heavily overpaid to move across the street from somebody. And yeah, I mean, how's that going to work? They uprooted everything from one place. They've had a small fortune dropped in their lap. And it's not enough. So if that's not enough, when will it ever be enough? It's only money. I really want to be somewhere in my life, you know, where I can be like, it's only money. You know what I mean? I do. One time in my life, I would love to be, it's all money, you know? I mean, I'm fortunate in life. I'm not out on I thought for a minute there with the health problems, it did scare me, you know? I was like, oh my God, if that happens, who knows what's going to go on? But I've been lucky with it, you know, and I've been fortunate in life. But yeah, I feel like all of us, you know, we're like a couple of missteps away from, let's see, are there any more comments through there? I mean, it's amazing. Like, they have to keep this narrative. Remember now. So 2L, if you're keeping track, either look at this here. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, Michelle. You better stay the fuck in line, Michelle. You don't bite that hand that feeds you. 2L and her followers have invested hundreds of hours work to support yourself, John and HG. Jeremy Hales would love to end that. Again, it's all Jeremy, right? It's all Jeremy's fault. And she's like, you know, I've never said anything negative ever about Lisa, ever. But I will defend my truth. My truth. I always hate that layer. Again, I don't, you know, I'll be point blank about it. I don't like Preston. I can tell what kind of people these are. I can see it. I've looked through enough stuff. I feel very confident that I could prove in a court of law exactly what I see here. And I'm entitled to my opinion. Having said that, again, this situation, I feel like, you know, you got scammers on scammers, and this is their money. This is her money. So, you know, if the people have a problem with that, have they been scammed out of their money? By the way, these people who want their money back, are you telling me you feel scammed? You know, with the lawyer pool, the lady's like, you know, I want my money. I want my fins. Why? Do you feel scammed? Were these the same people that were all knives out about it when I said they were being scammed? It's so strange. So strange, isn't it? This person was like, you have a lot of explaining to do and more apologies to make. She was like, I have no apologies, as I've done nothing wrong. I feel sorry. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but it's not the truth at all. And I really resent it very much. All those lies about me, I really do. I stand on the truth. So what is up with this? You stand on the truth, so you know what you're saying, and you still run a Facebook group called I Stand in the Truth? Holy God. This person, oh my God, this is amazing. I need a screenshot. So they have I Stand on the Truth. So that means that I stand in the truth. What does that mean then? Give me a second. I stand on the truth. If you know that's that, the more you standing in the truth, oh my God. That is something else. Oh my gosh. It is so weird. You need to sue all these people. Let's see. Here's the thing about Marla, you know. I mean, it is. Look at these fucking garbage human beings, by the way. My kid mocking her. Fuck you, say, you weirdo. See, that's what I mean. This is the ecosystem right here. They'll make up anything. You have a little kid come in, they're cute. You have thousands of people that listen to it. What do? They come up with a narrative. Again, they used, they took a name of a chatter and turned it into something it wasn't, so they could be victims of a child. Imagine trying to play victim from a 5-year-old. That's the kind of pieces of garbage these people are. They always have to have some type of victim narrative. These are the same people, too, that'll cry about nicety array. Now, I don't know these people shit. Like I said, I won't go after their families and stuff because I'm a better person than they are. You know, I mean, that's ultimately that. I have a line in the sand for myself on my own behavior. That's why I don't go after their family members. But they don't have that. In order to complete their victim narrative and to also, again, target whomever, they have to come up with the most ludicrous bullshit ever, while pretending, of course, that they care about children. You know, I care about them, except those two. It's so funny. All that does is make people not only dislike them, but make people like them, the kids, more. So it always backfires. But that's the kind of weirdos. They're like, they've made fun of you forever. Fuck yes, I've made fun of you, lady. I think you're a terrible human being. Let me just say, me, yes, I have for sure. And I will continue to do so. You want to go out and you want to pro se represent yourself. You want to put together one of the worst freaking representations of a case ever, and you expect not to have that mocked and ridiculed? Are you kidding me? Hell yeah, I made fun of that. Hell yeah. But of course, that's someone else's fault, right? It's all someone else's fault. You're supposed to sit on your hands and pretend that this shit is not hilarious. I love making fun of these people. They are the worst fucking people in the world. And they're trying to redirect. Because all of this was about these people right here have fucked you. Let's talk about that. Let's see. Is your case better since BBB got involved? Let me ask you that. Like, again, I'm an easy target there because you know I don't like you. But let's talk about the people that are supposedly on your side of things. Has your case gotten better with that person there? I mean, the bankruptcy move may have well burned your chances to ever make any type of money again. As far as not just like donations for a home or whatever. Not random donation, but for a lawyer? You thought you were going to have lawyer pooling? Well, I doubt that now. I think, too, you know, when you all went knives out. And again, I hope, like I said, the donor there needs to remember she played the same victim narrative shit with him. She did. One time when they thought they'd never get any more money, and then they started wanting his number or his contact info, rather, not his number, but his contact info when they thought he was back in the fold. But BBB, did that make things better there? 2L, did they make things better? Lips, did they make things better? Honestly, again, Lips is the epitome of a third party violation. She's a nut, man, you know? I mean, what a crazy freaking world, man. What a crazy bunch. Let's see. I'm going to make sure they haven't posted anything new while I'm going through this. Now, where's our video today, by the way? Where is it? Like I said, I imagine there's going to be a lot of damage control behind the scenes. They're going to try to get this thing in gear. Do you think, though, Lips made anything better? Do you think Paint Chips and Pal, do you think those folks, they made things better? I mean, seriously. But she's like, as far as Marla, because Marla was listed here, you know, unfortunately, Element OP thinks that Marla is her bestie. What does she have to say about that? I do not think that Marla is my bestie. I haven't spoken to Marla in over almost a year. Holy crap. All of that damage control, all of those statements too that she was making, that pretty much I took a lot of her statements to be from the mouth of Element OP. Are you telling me that she didn't make those statements? That it was actually just Marla making those statements the whole time? If so, isn't it just like the money thing? You know? I thought we were going to hear Element OP's truth. I guess actually we're just hearing the people like Marla's truth, you know? It's so funny, though. We don't get along. What about this right here? We don't get along. I mean, holy crap. You know, that's wild. 1 second. I'm making a note. The person here is like, hey, well, thanks for that, clearing it up. I think, again, like the statements that have been made repeatedly about that person, it just blows my mind to think again that they don't even get along, man. I mean, this is, again, one of the biggest mouthpieces out there that used to, I mean, she used to use statements about it. She also said that they were going to be paying back that money. I thought that was funny. Marla told us that, you know. See, she said that money-wise, that, check this out, money-wise, they would be doing refunds. Give me 1 second here. God, I got too many of those open. It's like, which one? Which one? This one here. Again, I showed this yesterday, but she was asked, like, hey, where's the money? Going back to the donors, I think. Some is in the lumber that's in the barn. Back to the donors. Oh, are you kidding me, Marla? You guys ain't showing shit back to anybody. They would never do that. They wouldn't. Because they would, again, they'd have to talk about how much money was actually there. And that is not going to happen. They're not going to. They have proven time and again that they won't. Now, here's one other one. There's one more, and then we'll look at the documents. There's not a lot to these documents, so I wasn't. So, interesting who's encouraging you to keep your mouth shut once again. I think after 62 years on this planet, you've earned the right to speak as you see fit and in your best interest. Fair enough, right? They're interesting to see who was encouraging her to open her mouth as well. Yeah, shut your mouth and get in line, lady. That's what those people are telling. Again, 2L and crew are like, you know, they treat her 62 years old and they treat her like a petulant child. You don't know. You can't speak on your own, lady. It's amazing. I'll speak my truth, but please don't expect me to cut anyone down or belittle or humiliate anyone, because I'm not going to. I want it all. So that's what anyone wants, then please don't watch my video. Well, nobody's watched your video because your video doesn't exist. You know, it doesn't exist at all. Again, I imagine there's a lot of damage control going on. Now, on top of that, so if you haven't kept up recently with the filings that have been going on. We had, one second here. So in Fed 1, well, actually with Fed 2, is going to have its own version of it. But in Fed 1, we had a, give me a second there. We had a notice of similar case, which was put in. When that was put in, the judge, he put in an order that asked, hey, you know, unless you have an objection, we're going to stay this. But I will give, I'll give counsel time to respond. Now, the judge doesn't even bring this part up. Like this should be a big issue, you would think. But judge seems okay with that. Judge seems okay with getting the middle finger. Again, they've got enough money to bring in this lawyer and stop proceedings. But it notes here, plaintiff notes that defendant Preston has twice previously represented the court that she needed additional extension and time to retain counsel in this case, which was granted. To date, no counsel has appeared in this case. Yeah, she was given all this time and shit. She was given this free reign with it. And what happens? More delays. Because this judge, man, is a fucking joke. What's he doing? Ignores that part. So I hope you stick that in your mind. What's he have to say? Of course. Now, Randy did not oppose this, by the way. He notes, like, you're... In fact, I mean, when I'm thinking about the bankruptcy thing, I actually think it's a positive for Hales. I do. I think it's a heavy positive, like all of this insanity. I think it's a heavy positive because it doesn't just give them a chance. They think it's a delay tactic, and it is. It's a delay tactic. It'll slow things down. But on top of that, it unveils a lot of stuff that, again, they did not need to note publicly, you know, so they're not fighting it. I mean, honestly, what are you going to fight it? What grounds are you going to fight it on anyway? But I think it's 100% in his favor. So there's no negative to this thing happening. In fact, like I said, everything in this situation is positive. How would he have, for example, how would he have found out about the 3 telephones? For sure, the 3 networks she brought up in her bankruptcy filing, that there are 3 cellular provider companies over the time period where she turned over nothing. So she did that on her own. And there'll be a lot more too. So they didn't fight this, okay? Just to note. They just noted that. And the judge's decision on this comes in. Now, of course, you're going to have a pause. You knew it was coming. Here's the thing. In Fed 1, what's happening is Fed 1 pauses for all parties involved. Fed 2 does not. Since you have similar items in there. You know, you have, it also delays the answering of the counterclaim argument too. I mean, the judge could have made a decision on that, but instead of looking at it and actually making a decision on it, he decides that he's not going to do that either. It's like, are you kidding me, dude? Are you ever going to make a decision, by the way, on Bruce? Is that just going to hang here while we're all, while everything stayed? Are you going to do nothing on that as well? Man, I tell you, Judge here, again, he talked a big game about how you wouldn't disrespect his courtroom. If you disrespected his courtroom then, and then Bruce has been so emboldened by all this madness over time. Although Bruce has been quiet lately, I will say, you know. These people, I mean, they burned him publicly. So it's not like they were doing him a favor publicly or anything. They did burn him on the freaking ecosystem. They 100% did. So maybe he's just like, forget these people. I don't know. But I can't imagine him walking away. So let's see this. On July 8th, 2025, plaintiff filed a notice of similar case advising the court of a pending bankruptcy petition filed by defendant Preston on July 3rd, 2025. Footnote 1. So This is C-Dunk NRE Preston. Given the pending bankruptcy petition, the court invited plaintiff to respond to the court's suggestion that a stay of this case as to defendant Preston would be appropriate under the automatic stay provision of 11 U.S.C. 362A. The court also invited plaintiff to respond to the court's suggestion that given the interrelatedness of the claims against the only two defendants in this case, the case should be stayed as to Cook. Prior to plaintiff's response, defendant Preston filed a notice of automatic stay, advising the court of a bankruptcy petition, stating that its filing required an automatic stay under bankruptcy code. Plaintiff now responds, indicates that he agrees with the court's suggestion. So again, noting this, it was not something that was disputed. That's the thing that really should get them old heads scratching. Why aren't they arguing it? Why didn't they try to stop something? If this is this mind-blowing move, again, cost donors $6,000 to go down this road. Why isn't Hale's seemingly frustrated? Why instead does he seem quite content with this move? You would think maybe, just maybe, this isn't the classic awesome bombshell that they thought it would be. They were pretty damn emboldened by the idea that this would be some kind of huge thing for them. But instead, it ends up being something I think is damaging. I think it's another stupid move. I think it's an epically stupid move. Because what are the positives? When you make moves like this, what are the positives versus the negatives? Like, look at all of the stuff that happened. You burned your donors. The donors that were on it, they feel misled. They're not happy about it. You have 2L saying, hey, I never set that up. Again, they threw Bruce under the bus for it. That's the amazing thing. They absolutely threw Bruce under the bus because it wasn't popular. So it's all on Bruce. I kind of love that. And I mean, it was on Bruce. I mean, he did do it. But still, they were like, we didn't know anything about it at all. So as far as, when the donors got irritated about it, the fastest thing that they could do was throw Bruce under the bus. Isn't that interesting? So, as far as that, it is ordered as to defendant Preston. The case is stayed under that pending disposition of as the case. That's what it's talking about. As to Cook, it's also stayed under. Defendant Preston and Cook's counterclaims are stayed, so the decision on that is stayed under the court's inherent power to control its docket. So again, they have, footnote 2, by the way, for Cook. This acknowledges the automatic stay as to a debtor defendant and imposing a stay as a non-debtor co-defendant under the court's inherent power to control its docket. Now, 3, again, is right here. The court did not overlook that the automatic stay provision of the bankruptcy code does not extend to the lawsuit initiated by the debtor, and this would not apply to defendant Preston's counterclaims in this case. The relatedness of the counterclaims, however, particularly counterclaim 1's allegation that plaintiff, quote unquote, framed the defendants by falsely accusing them of creating road signs at issue, warrants staying defendants' counterclaims under the court's inherent power. So it stays everything. It could have, that's the interesting thing. It could have moved forward with the decision about the signs. But all the deadlines there are told. Now, they say within 90 days of the date of this order, plaintiff shall file a status report. By the way, they've already got a hearing deadline set up. If they start dragging ass on it, trying to delay things, yeah, I have the feeling like, again, they paid their money to this guy. They dropped $6,000 in his lap. They already have dates, timelines, and they have been terrible, by the way. They're arming up Jeremy. If they try to delay more again, all they're doing is giving him more ammunition. It's amazing. You go to court with what you have. Oh, well, they know they're screwed. Like if they felt that they could actually get away with what they have done, they would have gone a different route, but they didn't. Now, as far as the order for Fed 2, this impacts Fed 2 as well. With Fed 2, again, what was this worth $6,000, by the way, to the ecosystem? Was this worth their $6,000, honestly? So you could delay and Jeremy Hales could get more information. He'd have more time to line up any experts or anything else that he wants. He has more time to think. He has more time for people to come forward. He has more time for these people to cause more cracks in the facade. A lot of people know things. It's dumb, man. It's a very dumb move. So again, you see the automatic stay, same wording, right? So it's ordered that, you'll notice. As to defendant Preston, the case is stayed. All deadlines related to Preston are told. The case remains pending as to all other defendants. So everyone else involved in the case, they move forward. So Preston has a pause button on stuff. I honestly wonder if arguing that all of this should pause. I honestly think like I think the stuff that they've done and said lately, I think them arming Jeremy is a very dumb thing to do. The pause does not benefit them. It benefits him. Because again, it gives him more time, more access, and it screws these other defendants potentially too. We'll see what happens with that. But that's your newest on Fed 1 and 2. There's been some new documentation about someone else. I think we'll bring up Thursday. Now, I'm hoping, like I said, I want to go over the Shara stuff with you guys. I feel like the one thing that we really need to hit on has been this stuff here, though. Because the money thing, again, they'll try to sweep this all under the rug later on. They'll try to pretend it wasn't such a big deal. But it was a big deal. It has been a big deal. It's nasty. Nasty there. 1 second here. Make sure nothing. Let's see what's come in. 1 minute. Coffee. Just give me 1 second. Hey, Sarcasm, what's up? Thank you. Sent $50 there. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Sent through Cash App for candy, crafts, and family fun time. Fun time indeed. Yeah. Thank you, Sarcasm, for sure. You better come on with our pal, by the way. Because if you don't, you definitely need to, though. That will be great. Like you guys being on Thursday. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So, MaxLab, thanks for the tell. We got breaking news from Jeremy. Yes, indeed. We caught that at the beginning. Thank you for noting stuff. Thank you for noting whatever on the case, too. Again, as always, much appreciate you. Fallen Hero, thank you for the gifted membership there. Thank you, Fallen Hero, by the way. As always, you are much appreciated. You've been around a long time. I appreciate you. I have my favorites. I'm going to give you the birthday song. I don't care. I still want to give you a celebration song. And the only thing, I need an anniversary song. But I'm going to play the...
Happy, happy birthday!
Yeah.
From both of us to you.
Yeah, happy Mr. Ray. It's the best I can do on that one.
May all your dreams come true. Happy, happy
anniversary. Yeah.
We love to have you here.
Happy birthday. Happy anniversary. Yeah, that's great. Like, oh my gosh, that singing's awful, Tug. You're under arrest, baby. No, I gotta get out of here. Get off me. I love that freaking AI picture. Oh man, we got our birthday too. Yes, it's gonna be one of those days. I love it. Maybe not, thanks to the two. Happy birthday, Jerica. Let's bust that out again. Love it. I love having a birthday day. Everybody sing along in the chat, by the way.
Happy birthday,
yeah.
from
all of us
to you. Happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday.
Yeah, baby.
We love to have you here.
Happy birthday. Here's to
another year.
That is awesome. We appreciate you too. Laura, thanks for the 32, my man. Roll up on 3 years, Laura. Need a taser emoji. That's it, a red light emoji. It's funny. Heck yeah. Andre, thanks for the tip. I think the donor was embarrassed by being scammed. I think a few of them are. I think a lot of people are in denial too, you know, because some of them have been taken, you know, and it's okay. I mean, people get scammed, you know, we get scammed out of our time. Again, I've had my decency, you know, I've had it manipulated by people. That's okay. It's not okay they manipulated you, but it's okay that you fell for it. You know, on the other side of it, you learn from it. But I think there was, regardless, again, I know there is a lot of heated conflict with the donor too. But the thing is, the giving of the money, I think, was done from a good place. I think it tried to help out there. And I think there's been a lot of frustration that came up. I think he was very frustrated because he noted, you know, and they blew up on him about it. He noted, I tried 3 times to get you to get a contractor. 3 different times. And you wouldn't do it. And the way they do, they scream at him and tell him it's his fault because he didn't give enough money. As the $56,000 is not enough money. They're working with a tiny shoestring budget. If he wants that kind of stuff, he needs to give more. Are you kidding me? Anybody that would give these people more money, you'd have to have a screw loose. And he's not going to give you more money. So they're blocking him, by the way. They noted that. They would be blocking him now. And again, you know, they have figured out that he's not going to give them any more money. It's like I said before. I said that right away. If he came back and the real test of things would be just like he has been. And if he wanted to see if they would remain with it, now what he needs to do is go public and make fun of them and tell them that if they would have held on for a few weeks, it was actually just to see what they would do or not, because he was thinking about dropping $100K on them or something. That's the way that you really show that. Because again, you know, Bruce said, do you have any friends without money, without having to pay them? You'd be like, well, about that. And yeah, he has been disruptive over there too. He has been. But you know, at the same time, I mean, I'm conflicted on it. I see the chat's issue. I thought it was very disruptive. You know, there's some pretty nasty back and forth sometimes. If that happened here, I would have a mod mute that person out or maybe ban them for it. But they wanted something from that guy. And it was fascinating how they admitted it last night. They said, even again, they blamed him for the banner thing. But the way they blamed him was interesting, because they blamed him by saying he didn't think it was appropriate. And I felt that because he gave all that money that I had to listen to him. So you thought you would bilk him for more money. That's the whole thing. What an admission. What an admission. Weezy Wheels, thank you, by the way, for this. You know, don't ever, any of y'all, you know, you all show up, you back with your time. You make this fun and you built the channel up. that by itself, you are appreciated for it, you know. But I appreciate that. Treat for love, bug, and more. Well, thank you too. But never, like I said, never feel like you need to do anything either, you know. You never feel like you're just here. That's enough, man. That's enough. Other people, they always, you know, they always make sure stuff runs and runs well. And you do too, you know. Everybody plays their part. So thank you. And I appreciate the heck out of you folks. Jada, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. I love it. I love that I love the memberships. I like, man, your Muppet seems so wholesome, by the way. It does. It very well does. I appreciate it. Jack's mom, thanks for 5. The pause also makes Lisa come up with content since she doesn't have court documents to lie to them about. That means she'll stir up stuff for view. Oh yeah. Yeah. They'll be knives out on each other, man. I'm telling you, like, it amazes me how fickle that, like, how do you move back to the way things were? You can't. Like, again, they have already said that MP is all these terrible things. If they try to go in and they try to remedy it again, LP, the only way that she's going to be able to remedy things is to drop the complaint. And that means not knowing about your money. And your money may well disappear while you're lounging around. I mean, there is a real immediacy to grabbing your coin. So better get on that. If there is a pause though with that, yeah, they'll be especially nasty and they'll be going after everybody. And I mean, we still have, again, there are multiple things that are still going on with this. There's so much to catch up, man. Maybe I can finally catch up the Shara docs. Holy God, there's a bunch to catch up. Patty, thank you for the gifted membership there. Thank you very much, Patty. I appreciate you. Now, again, I love the Muppets make everybody like seem so nice and wholesome. I don't know why anybody ever had a problem to complain about Muppets. That's the greatest thing. Yeah, write a chick. Thanks for the 5 there. There's 2L. Not think there are screenshots of everything. That way, it doesn't matter. These people over there. Here's the thing. I mean, you're right. There are indeed, but these people are just willing to listen and believe, unless it comes to LP now. Now, what she says requires evidence. You know. But they've been conditioned on this diet of listen and believe. Just believe bullshit. You know, just make up something or warp it, and who cares? That's what they've done. They did it to Hales, and now they're going to do it to Preston. Because again, they're not pro Preston; they're anti Hales. QL made that very clear too. He made it the other day. You know, it wasn't started to help these people. It was started for other reasons. That means it was started because of anti Hales. You know, that's a hell of an admission, by the way, to state when you're being sued for running an anti-Hales channel. Huh. And the money thing, not good there. But what a dip. Yeah. He absolutely said where he wanted the money to go. Yes. Especially player. He did. He made it very clear. He did. You know? He made it very clear. And if they had a problem, they could have gone in and they could have fixed things. I mean, 100%. You know how they could have fixed it if they had an issue with him giving, say, the $7,000 for a play area. If they had a problem with that, well, what's the easy remedy? It's called returning the money. See, he gave it through PayPal. Like in here, through YouTube, there is no refund button. So there's a specific way that you have to handle that, you know, and if you ever have that come up, then you and I can talk about that, you know, but because I don't want to talk about law, you know, because it involves a certain thing you have to do. But I don't. It's not refunding. Let's just say it's something else. But there's no button here. Everywhere else there is. There's one in PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, whatever. You can return money. You return it all. You know. So you wouldn't eat fees or anything. They could have returned that money if it was a problem, but they didn't. They took it with the express the express intent that it would be utilized for whatever the guy said for. You know. Again, if they want to say that he's a terrible human being and all this too. Or, by the way, I wonder how his pals in the ecosystem, how they take this stuff. Because remember, they called it all chat drama. You know? And screw well, you know, that his problem's not mine. You know, if somebody's my friend and somebody goes knives out at them, we have a problem. Like if somebody decides to say, go after Megan, right? Megan and I are friends. If somebody went after Megan, we'd have a problem, you know? Because if you go after her, you go after me. That's the way I look at it. That's what a friend is. A friend's not like, oh, I might get a little drama and it might cost me some subscribers. No. That's not how it works. No, it's fascinating. Like I said, you know, when's that going to happen? Green Veggie Beast, by the way, thanks to the vibe. Did Lynette already remove her post from last night? I haven't seen anything missing, just to say. I haven't seen any of them that were gone. But she hasn't updated anything, which is no video. Green Veggie Beast also, thanks for the 5. RVs don't have ball bladders. They use flaps that dump into a black tank. So the ball toilet isn't even how an RV works? Huh. That's interesting by itself too. I've never had an RV. I've never used an RV. I mean, I like them. I think they're cool, but I've never had the money or had anybody around me that's been able to afford, you know, a mobile domicile. I think they're cool though. I think a recreational now the kind of recreational vehicles they were turning into living places is probably, you know, long term. Again, you know, that's why you raise money for a long-term house. But God, I would love to play around with an RV. I think that would be fun. I'd go riding around, going places. Could you imagine like the Tugmobile? I think that'd be fun. We could put a party bus together and we could go to Florida. Because when it says Florida, it's all right. Oh my God, that's an old French fry commercial. Or Ryder French fries. That was very random. King Lake, what's up? King Lake, man. Talking about a good dude, by the way. King Lake, man. 64 months, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, King Lake. You talk about a long time ago. This dude here, back in 2019, went to a convention. And King Lake and I hung out. I even, you know, we did an interview and goofed off together. We goofed off for days and did stuff. Good dude, man. I really like King Lake there. You know, check him out, man. Like I said, good people, man. That's one thing I love about these different things that when I'm covering different items, I find really good people out there. King Lake, dude. Appreciate you, brother. Man, 64 months. That's wild. I mean, you talk about, again, 5 years and change. We had a lot of fun there. back at Anime Matsuri. Man, that was crazy. Ruth, thanks for the 16 months. There is not a statement. 16 months in of itself is a statement. Thank you, Ruth. That is much appreciated too. You know. I do. I appreciate all you folks. I love you all and I appreciate you. I really do. Just J-Hip, thanks for the 5. I need my main brain replaced as well. Well, luckily you've already shaved the dome, so it's ready. You just gotta open it up and pop, pop. Fun times. Jack's mom, thanks for the 5 there. If they own money on it, wouldn't it have to have insurance that would cover that stuff? Yeah, you would think. I mean, again, You would think as a living, I don't actually, let me take this back. I don't know how RV insurance works. Does RV, is it like your car in the fact that you can just have basic insurance on it, you know? Or is it like my home where, you know, insurance wise, we're talking about a deductible and things get fixed? Anybody know about that? I'm curious. How does RV insurance work? You know, I've never, like I said, I've never had an RV, so that is something I've never looked into. That's a good question though with everything. Cindy, thanks for the 5 there. Need to look at the doc. Voluntary repo means it was given back, FYI. If you but you know, so it calls it, is it a voluntary repo? Well, here's the thing though. It's hard for me to believe this story. You know why it's hard for me to believe? Again, they're giving up their main domicile, and you're going to tell me that the place, the situation that they would be living in would be better. You know, black mold or whatever. Sure, okay, but you're going to tell me like these buildings and stuff, they don't have their own problems. Like that's my issue with this whole repo thing. You know, if I were voluntarily giving something up, I could ditch it because I'm not going to pay anymore. And instead of it hitting me in the wallet that way, I'm like, yeah, come and get your piece of crap. You know, I'm not going to pay anymore. Okay. Again, I feel like you're splitting hairs, you know, if they were doing that. Not you, I mean them, you know. I feel like they got repoed is what happened, you know. But thank you, Cindy, too. That's something to look up. I appreciate you. Niece, thanks for the 10 there. RVs, campers, boats, money pits. Yes, that's something I've heard before, too. They require constant upkeep and repairing. Land Cook, never do upkeep and repairs. Turn into a hovel and a hoarder home. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. You know, that is the problem. Yeah, indeed, Eshawn. Eshawn notes, you know, for myself or Megan, we don't solicit donations meant for someone else. That is indeed true. I do not do fundraisers for other people like that. I don't put them in my name and funnel money through me. If there's a GoFundMe set up, I would set it up much different than that. It would not, again, first of all, I would set up a GoFundMe or something else, you know, and I would not solicit donations for a person through YouTube. I would do it through a platform where you could set up a fundraiser. But again, a fundraiser requires an end goal. See, this is the most deceptive thing about all of this. Over time, they can say at the beginning they had no idea, blah, 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 blah. But when they had this finalized notion, we're going to do whatever, they don't have a final tally or number. In fact, you only find out about the $56,000 because the donor expresses concern. Before that, people were thinking $10,000, maybe $15,000, maybe, you know, and that would have been with the donor. That's what people were thinking that had been donated, you know. It was nowhere near that. And they wanted people to think that. No accountability, because if you had told these folks that they had raised almost $60,000 off of one person, would people continue to drop money in there like it's like it's an immediate need? No. I don't think they would have had that. I think we would have seen a slowdown, an extreme one, because people would be like, okay, that meets that meets your goal. Then when you find out this number, and again, they resorted to calling the guy a liar and saying that he didn't give that much money. There were fees, and so, God, man, so much lunacy, you know. It blows my mind. I'm no piece of sovereign citizen. Oh no. That would be insurance for fire, water damage, etc., similar to a home, but also has some aspects of it. So you would have coverage for water, mold, and all that stuff. Again, you'd have a deductible, and you have to pay that out. So, I mean, if there's an issue that's out there and you have one that makes your mobile domicile unlivable, like see, that's my question. Again, I've dealt with a crappy car before, and my crappy car, it had crappy insurance, but my home, I wouldn't do that way at all. What's up, Emmy? Thank you, by the way. $100, thank you there. It's tragic to me that most of these people don't understand that there are simply things in this world that money can't buy children. That's true. That is very true. Emotional support is an example. Affection, positive role model, values, and help maintain stable relationships. LP, JC, they have failed in all of this. Well, my issue again, and I base this off of LP's own statements and stuff I've seen. Like, again, when I say this is me expressing my own opinion. Do not contact anyone again. I don't know how many times I said that, but I'm going to say it again. Do not contact people associated with this or anything else. It's just me talking. When you look at the red flag statements, and then on top of it, you look at them weaponizing a kid to yell through fences and more. I mean, kid will eagerly do that, by the way. Heck yeah. They're not only they're allowed to yell. Oh, they love that. They're allowed to go out and play and do whatever. They don't understand. They have no idea what's going on. But that's sad. Also, the statements I heard about Travis, about turning him into some boogeyman across the street. That really worries me, because that can have a true impact on the kid. Again, you want to teach kids about stranger danger, but what they were saying is not teaching a kid stranger danger. It's teaching them something totally different. You got to watch that. Kids are a blank slate. They can pick up the positives from you, but if they're not given positive affirmation and attention and affection, they will get it negatively. Negative reinforcement. Negative is still a attention. It's still reinforceable. So if they get negative attention for misbehaving, you don't give them positive attention, they will take it on. And I'm not necessarily talking about this. I'm talking about everything. And that is misfortune. That is a misfortune for the child later on in life. I hate that. Rogue Mama, thanks for the tune. I'll be sculpting hip horse face out of clay suit. That'll be beautiful. I love it. What's up, Georgie? How you doing? The T-Moo crew loves you, Tugglesworth. I appreciate you guys, man. And you too. You all have. You know what I appreciate too? I really like? I like the fact that you are showing growth in what you do. It's not just you putting on a show, but you're getting better at it. That means you take it seriously. That is something I very much appreciate. A lot of people, what helps people stand out? You learn over time what you're good at. You learn how to, you learn how to handle sound quality, how to shop whatever images, and you find your, the personality, how you want to express yourself online. Y'all are developing good there. I remember when y'all started out, and again, we all start out rough, but you all have developed very well. So props to you. Kudos. Appreciate y'all. King League, what's up? Thanks for the 5 there too. Like I said, King League, good people, man. Some shekels for the lug and buck. Hope everything is well, brother. Indeed. What's crazy is back then, the little one was I mean, we're talking about 0 years, you know. So when I went to Anime Matsuri, she wasn't around yet, and the oldest was around her age. That's crazy, man. You talk about a lot of time there, you know. Thank you, brother. God, I forget how long I've been doing this for a while. Bonnie, thanks for the vibe. Just wondering where the money from the plumber, mold company, membrane came from. Indeed, that's a good question too. Where'd they get money to bring in a plumber? Where'd they get money for all this other stuff? That is a good question. And it was my, again, do you think, this is a real question to anyone that, you know, the ecosystem chatters, I'm going to say. Do you think that these people, without your money, they would be able to continue living where they live? Do you think if you built a domicile there, if you built up that house, do you think that next year, do you think they'll be able to pay the taxes, or the year after that? Do you think that stuff's going to happen? Or are you just going to build up something and then maybe it gets sold off on you? So I wonder what people imagine there. Hey, Finch, thank you for the 9 months there. I'm in the hospital this week from my last man. Love to you, first of all. And I hope everything is going well for you. Thank you for keeping me company and laughing. Indeed, like I said, that is a primary motivator. One of the reasons I love to be on is because I get positive messages from so many people that are like, yo, you know what? I've been going through this, or I've been going through that. And the show, it's fun to be part of. We got all these good people to hang out with, and it keeps me laughing and having fun. And that's great. See, I love that. I try not to get on too many. Every now and then I'll have a day where I'm like, you know, just something irritates me so bad. But I try not to get on those too often either, because I want to keep us having fun, you know. So I'm glad it's there. And I very much love to you, much support to you. I hope you were doing okay. Nora, thank you for the 32 months. Rolling up on that phone. Man, what are you talking? What we got? 3 years there? Man, for 4 months? Ooh, 4 more months. It's crazy. Much love to you, Tug, family, and community. Indeed. All of you. Like I said, I much appreciate you all. I don't know what better way to, I mean, you got, like I said, they'll allow me to do what I enjoy doing every day. It's great. Andre, thanks for the 5. I wonder if they're saying they can afford the camper. I believe it's just another scam to fool the bankruptcy court. You can't trust them. No, you know, that's the thing. I don't trust them at all. And you're right, man. You're right. I don't trust any of these people. You know, the real issue in this, the thing that, again, firmly puts me behind Preston in the matter of money, is the fact that these people they're lying about how the money was picked up. They're lying to their audience about what you can do about maintaining it. And when they put the public pressure on Preston has to make a decision here. Preston has to make the decision of, you try to secure what's left of your bag here. Whatever, whether she has the greatest intention or not, she has to decide, do you maintain the goodwill of people that you won't maintain it over time? They're going to fall out eventually no matter what. But do you do that, or do you watch that money dwindle? You know, because again, you had a sizable amount of money. When you're talking about getting $1,000 a month in support, you know, from the government, Social Security, and suddenly you have $70,000 to $100,000 come in, that is a substantial amount of money. And now hearing that it's 18, it's still a lot of money, but it ain't like it was before. So I think, you know, with Preston again, trust no. I think you're right. But it is firmly her money. These suckers gave their money away. and they need to get a grip on it. You know, let it go. Just Jacob, thanks for the 5 there. As a pretend lawyer, I'll say this. When you commit fraud, don't announce it on live stream. Hey, you know what? That is a great thing from even a pretend lawyer who knows 100%. If you're going to defraud people, don't note it to others. Yes. Shifter brains. Thanks for the 20 there. LMNOP wants all to think she's smart. That's true, except everyone knows you can't call bank and then tell them to pick up an item. Yep. And I'm as a loan contract. Loan institutions will definitely be suing them, had to be repossessed. Well, here's the thing. I mean, I can give it up and be like, I ain't going to pay for it. But yeah, they're still taking it back. You're right. So, you know, and that would be part of the bankruptcy too. Yes, these places will sue them. They will get theirs. 100%. You're right. Just Jacob. Thanks for the 5. Element P is not appreciative of the money raised for her that she did not receive. What a monster. Indeed. How dare you not appreciate this thing you never got? That is pretty funny. You know, you should appreciate these things that you're not allowed to have. And maybe she would misspend it. Maybe she'd buy a dozen more freaking dogs that she doesn't need and 6 electric scooters for them to ride around on. But it's still her money, you know. That would actually be pretty funny to see, by the way. Inspire, thanks for the 3 months there. This has just turned into who can tell the biggest lie now. Indeed. It's going to be people that they're going to be like cutting each other out. Indeed, 2012. Thanks for the wait. They're proving that the lawsuit funded fraud. Indeed, yeah, I know she stuck that y'all in there, but yeah, I mean, isn't that weird? Isn't it weird also that they're going in and they're proving exactly the things that they probably shouldn't have, especially, again, they want to say that nobody has any right to finding out about the financial she's holding. The noise that they just made, this will come up in bankruptcy court. That's Lynette Preston's money. It is her freaking money. And 2L, man. I mean, you lie about it and stuff. Oh, what are you going to do? You're going to tell a court, no, that's actually not her money. It's my money. I'm the steward of it. Yes, I raised it in her name, but are you kidding me? I mean, y'all, I've done some real stupid things in the past, but this takes the prize. Holy shit. Just give the woman her money. I mean, you turn on her too. See, turning on her, that means, again, that the people that are listening, they have to sign off and they have to be okay with turning on LP. That'll cost you some people. Because now it's all about 2L. You notice how they hijacked this whole thing. At first, it was all about, we're helping Preston. We're helping Cook. Now it's me. It's amazing. They have managed. It's like watching the Thunderdome here. They've come on top. All again, Preston. If she wants to maintain goodwill, he has to suck it up, and it won't matter in the long run, and it'll cost her a lot of money, I bet. We'll see. What's up, Alex? By the way. I always love your freaking avatar, by the way. They're so cute. Thank you for the $10 super sticker. That is much appreciated. Thank you. Green Veggies, thanks for I just sent you a PDF. Check your email. Give me a second here. Give me 1 minute. Let me see. Gmail. Let me check. Oh, by the way, too, I got a mail from somebody as well that says that they're blocked. Happy. let's see. I'll check on that. Okay. I will check on it afterwards. I'm marking it. Okay. If anybody accidentally blockings, they happen every now and then. Heck, I might block you on accident. And if it does, I'll check. Sometimes though, remember YouTube will hold comments and stuff as well. So I will check on that though. Just, I have marked it. Let me check. There's a few things that have come in. Let's see. What's this? Let me see. I'll have to read that over, and I'll definitely check that out. Thank you too. Let me see. There also there was a 10-cent that hit PayPal there. It says, "Hey Tug, a little something toward Candy and Tim Tam fund, the Tim Tams. A little something for your audiobook fund too. Thank you for being you. Much love to you and the lovely Tuglets. Thank you from Joe and fam. Thank you. I much appreciate y'all. I had just finished reading, again, I hate saying reading sometimes with audiobooks, but you know what I mean. I'm going through short stories for Joe Hale. Joe Hale, Stephen King's kid. I just went through Usher's. Usher's would have been good if Amazon did this collection of short stories from a bunch of people. And Usher's, it felt like the intro to something, but it didn't. I don't know. Now, I am listening to Jackknife, which is the next one. His son can come up with some good stuff. Again, Lock and Key, the comic book was. If you've never seen that, that is amazing. The show is not anywhere near it. Don't watch the show. Pick up the original material. Read it. They have 3 collected volumes. They're beautiful, and they're amazing. The story, oh my gosh. The twists and turns in the plot. It's awesome. I freaking love that. Stephen King's kid. The only problem is he gets a little crazy with the political stuff sometimes. And I don't care, by the way. Let me make it clear. I don't care that you have a specific political belief. It just doesn't belong in you. Like when your character spends 10 pages ranting about politics, out of the blue. I'm like, man, this is not my escapism, baby. Stop. Yeah. All right, thanks for the 2 there. Next song title, Standing on the Truth. Yeah, indeed. They've gone from standing in to standing. It blows my mind. So she knows what standing on the truth means. But she has a freaking place called Standing in the Truth. I mean, that blew my mind there. Weezy Wheels, thanks for the vibe. They need to leave our lug and bug alone. They don't want a crazy cripple on their arse. Indeed. I mean, it's nasty, but it just shows you who they are. The whole point of that, too, is to bring up the fact that, again, they talk about it's inappropriate to do this or inappropriate to do that. That's coming from the same guy who sermonizes that decided that the platform, little kid, not only does he talk about little kids and target them himself, but on top of it, he says that the channels are the Sodom and Gomorrah of YouTube. We are the Antichrist. What a crazy nut job. That's the kind of bullshit that gets people hurt. If some loon actually believed him, But family members are off limits. And he spent that. It was really crazy too. If you listen to that, everybody focuses on the couple of minutes where he's talking about that. He spent 8+ minutes ranting about how awful other people are before being like, oh, my personal issue. And I thought, what? He spent that time. He spent that time attacking the David the Donor, saying that he was not a man. In the same one where, again, he sermonizes about that. It's such hypocrisy. You are what I thought you were. That's what he told dude. It's okay. I was willing to forgive you because, you came around here and you apologized and you sucked it up. Remember that day? Again, that dude was like, never give you money back. Never do this. These people are shit. Like I said, I hope you learn something about that, because they will want you over time to give them more money. They will want you to do it. They will want you to back them with lawyers and more. Tell them to go to hell, man. Yeah. They blocked this dude, like some of them. But watch, they'll unblock him later on when he gets really desperate. Because 2L, again, it's going to be begging for money. And you know what? She'll be able to meet the first lawyer need. Like when she's begging for a lawyer fund, she'll be able to hit it at first. But the problem is that litigation is protracted. It's protracted warfare, you know? Lawfare takes time, and it eats money. And she won't be able to just do it on one fundraiser. She'll need it over time. She'll need somebody with big pocket. You know, these people, I remember well, anybody you've seen get involved in litigation, you notice they end up having to spend tens of thousands of dollars minimum. They'll raise maybe a few $1,000s at first, but all of that just gets eaten up. It gets eaten up fast, you know. To be honest, what would really be a kicker there, maybe Hales could do the same thing that they do to him. Maybe he could paper it. Maybe he could file a few dozen filings, and it costs you fucking $200 to $400 an hour. Then you'd really get the feeling for how much shit that involves. Because they celebrated that when Bruce was throwing around garbage filings, but they wouldn't if it were their money, or if they thought it would roll into theirs. Thank you, Wheezy Wheels. Much love to you too. Shifter, thanks for the 5 there. Elemental P states, she's using her own money. It's about time. Yes, she's been talking about all these conversations about money too. In the middle of a bankruptcy were probably not smart. You know, I'm just going to say. They can't hide the money either. They've admitted to a certain total, so there's at least $18,000 out there. And the way that they're pausing courts, again, you know, they made some huge errors, some huge tactical errors. Jada, thanks for the 7 months. Whatever happened to sanctions on Stark? That's that will be paused right this moment because she is involved, but it's kicked down the road. It'll happen. You know, the thing is, I think they want to kick it down the road enough that if Stark has some major medical issues for real, then, well, I mean, you know how that would turn out. Here's the issue, though. Ultimately, at the end of the day, who might that put liability on? Preston may become more liable for those issues. So, you know, they kick it down the road long enough. See, I think Stark knows that he's in a bad way, and so does Preston. That's another thing. Like, they know that some of these cases went real bad for them. That's why they're desperate to try to file off and do all this other craziness. AKA the cat lady, thanks for the 5. Tug, thoughts on Blake subpoenaing 16 creators for their chats info, including payment and personal info of viewers? Yeah, they could kiss my ass. I'd fight them with teeth out. This is just a new way. Amber Heard didn't try to aim specifically at creators. What they did is they tried to aim at unmasking Twitter users, 200 plus of them. Like this way, this has nothing whatsoever to do with that. Like I said, I would fight the hell out of them because it is totally inappropriate. What that is it's lawfare. She's trying to make sure, you know, she didn't pull this on mainstream media sources. You notice when they do that, they don't ever pull this shit on traditional media. They pull it on new media and they try to say you're bought and sold. Meanwhile, you know what goes on with regular media, and you know why they pull this shit, by the way, right? It's because with traditional media, they can send them a PR, like a PR packet, and they can give them promises. Oh, you'll be getting some exclusive stuff here. If you just, you talk about this and you talk about that. That doesn't work a lot of times. Like for a person like myself, for example, if you give me information, you can't tell me how to decipher it. I am the one that deciphers it, not you. So they try to pull that with someone like me, I'd dump it out there. I would screw them with it. Nobody would try that. And that's how they try to lean on these other folks. Since they can't control them one way, they try to lean on them and threaten them monetarily. And it's wrong. It's not surprising, though, but it just shows you what absolute pieces of filth and garbage they are. Because, again, they don't do that with traditional media. They do it because you express your thoughts. And somehow, since you express your thoughts, you've got to be a puppet for somebody, right? And they know that. They know better than that. Their lawyers know it, too. They just want to shut you the fuck up. Nasty business, man. But not surprising. It's not surprising at all. But yeah. It's nuts, man. These people, that's what I'm saying with content creation. You've got to realize that you go out, you do journalistic work. People try to dig into your lives, your livelihoods. Like I said, I would meet them with a giant middle finger. It would be my lawyer. Because they're not entitled to any names of anyone through YouTube. See, here's the thing. Like, money wouldn't come through chat. Like if they're trying to say that there's a payoff or something, that would be somehow behind everything. How would they even prove that ever? All they want to do, again, is to dox users online and to try to attack them. And that's, again, you get a lawyer in there to fight that, and you find it hard. You find it with teeth. Niece, thanks for the 20 there. I missed hearing Bug's sweet voice and excitement, and hearing Lung talking about her hissing cockroaches and her other pets. You're raising your girls right. It's clear you love them. You're very blessed. Indeed. Indeed. Thank you, first of all. And yes, I feel very fortunate with them. I wanted girls. I knew, like, with them, again, they're what's funny is they're totally, they're their own people, but I mean, they are totally different. You can tell. What if there's like a ball of just frenetic energy, and the other one, she's calmer. She's into her more serious stuff, and it's funny to listen to them together. And they're good kids. They're actually really good kids. That's what always disappoints me, when these idiots, they want to take aim, and they do that not to just take aim at kids. They do that because they think it's a way to hurt the person, like for me. And all I do is expose them, because they'll never be able to hurt them for real. But it is nasty business these people do. And they're good kids, and I appreciate y'all. We have fun with that. Jaguar, thanks for 5. She's going to track Tug and Megan's donations to see what they make, like it matters. Nice. You're going to track my super chats. It's going to make you embarrassed, is what it is. Fucking fools, man. Here's the thing. I'm not raising money in the name of anyone. I'm not like, oh, give me money and I'm going to put together and build this family a house. You fucking frauds. Did you do it? No. Give me $20,000 and I'll build a $4,000 fence. What a fucking bunch of frauds, man. Yeah, hell yeah. I run a for-profit channel. Nobody talked about your super chats. They talked about you raising money in the name of a family. And then you won't give them the money. You refuse to. That is fraud. That is straight up fraud. I mean, but of course they got to deflect, right? Got to deflect it. Oh, I'm going to see what they make. I make my giant middle finger, you absolute moron. I swear these people, dude. Thank you, Jaguar. They're so stupid, man. Paul Dark, thanks for emailing you a secret flea tool website. I will check that out. Thank you. I'll look it over. Thank you. Denise, thanks for the 10. Tug, Lynette removed all but one post on her Facebook. Oh yeah, you were talking about removing stuff from standing in the trash. I mean, true, yeah, true. Nothing's been removed from YouTube. I didn't think about looking at it from the standing in the. Yes, she did indeed ghost pretty much everything off of standing in the truth. Yeah, so from the other night. You would be right about her eating that. That's actually, I was thinking about the statements from YouTube. But yes, you would be right. The RV stuff and all of that. It's standard fare. All of it will get removed. And with Lips, yes, Lips pulled down Facebook, YouTube pages, all kinds of, not just that. Again, I was talking about this yesterday. Somebody wrote me about this. The auto write-in message that they have changed. That is pretty interesting. Again, I think these people are crazy enough that if they disappear, they probably won't stay going, But it is interesting because something looks like it changed because they're auto. Okay, when you write a business and you get an auto reply, right? They had the auto reply that stated that. Attention, new policy. Due to the voluminous amounts of text messages received from non-client legal inquiries, we have implemented a new policy. If you are a current client of civil blah, 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 their place, or in need of consultation, please visit, and it had legally, their website. Pro say to book an appointment to speak with us. We will not be using text messages. Right, that was their thing. But then it changed, and it's changed to please contact the husband. It has his email there. Leslie is no longer assisting in cases. Thank you. Now that tells me something's up. That didn't just change on its own. Somebody's not supposed to be messing around on cases. Why was she assisting on cases in the first place? But yeah, that is a heck of a change there. She ghosted all of that material too. But she's ghosted material before and played the I'm disappearing and then popped back up. But that change over there, that's the thing that really struck me. The ghosting of material, she went with that before. I don't know. I mean, like I said, we will probably talk about that litigation and stupid on Thursday. That'll be something again with Jay and crew. But as far as her, it's fascinating how she came in and she pretty much elbowed her way to the front of the line with a bunch of these people. But the front of the line is still, it's not making money. Look at the amount of crazy and the amount of stupid. And it's all for free. Like, you got to think, she was never monetized. Somebody may have been throwing her a few bucks behind the thing, but I don't know. I have no idea. If they weren't, that's an even worse case matter because she was doing all of that for free. And I think a lot of it was. She thought it would get her a lot of attention. She might be able to build a platform. No. She's the liability versus the gain. Whew, there was no way any of that stuff like that made no sense at all to me. Amanda, thanks for the live. Celebrating 25 years today. Not bad. 20-year-olds, 220, that's great there. We only knew each other for 6 weeks. That's awesome there. That's actually great, Amanda. Your family friend said it wouldn't last. That's how it goes, isn't it? It's always how it goes. I'm going to give you the happy birthday, but we'll change it up.
Happy birthday. to you. Happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday.
Happy anniversary.
We love
to have you here. Anniversary.
Happy birthday.
I guess it is, you know.
Here's to another year.
It is kind of a birthday too, isn't it? It's the legitimizing of your relationship. You're telling the world this is the birth date of that legitimacy. You may have been around each other, like you said, for a few weeks, but then after that, I get it though. That's awesome. That is awesome, man. Congratulations to you. I'm so proud of people when you show the world too. You're like, you know what? I knew this is going to be it. Props to you. Congratulations. Cruise ship mama, thanks for the 10. Is there a reason the courts order H's lawyer to give a status on LP bankruptcy in 90 days? Why should it cost him? Well, it actually shouldn't. It should be them giving a status. So if that would be something I would argue with the plaintiff giving any kind of status, it should be them giving some kind of status. Although I have to say at the same time, I would much rather give the status the way it's written out. But yeah, I mean, you're right. That is crazy, isn't it? That it's noted that plaintiffs should give status. That is nuts. I'm not even thinking about that. I just looked at it again. That is nuts. Maybe not. Thank you for the 2 there. Happy birthday, Amanda. Woohoo. We get another birthday. I love it.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
From
Amanda. All
both
of
of
us
us
to
to
you.
you.
Love it. Happy birthday.
May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday. We love to have you here. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Here's
to another year.
Another year.
That's awesome. Happy birthday to you. Robert, thanks for the 5. They scam hard for the money. Dun, dun, dun. So hard for the money. And they better hide it right. Too late for that, baby. Too late for that. That's great. They scam hard for the money. Love it. Jack's Bob, thanks for the 10 there. Their lawyers are going to want to attend depositions of each person and fed too, plus anyone they want to use. $200 an hour, 8 hours, 10 people, 16. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing. Like, they have no idea how much money litigation like this costs. That's why I say, when people ask me about litigation, I avoid what I can. If somebody, though, if one of these idiots tries to sue you, though, I don't back down either. But they are not going to raise the money they think they need. And the people that they think were help behind the scenes, too, I know, I wouldn't trust them. I would want my own lawyer. I would want myself free and clear, no ecosystem connection. I would not put my financial freedom in any of these people's hands. It's so nuts there. Ooh, they're creepers, man. Let's see. Shifter Brains, thanks for the 5. Why did LMNOP list electrician? She said she was an electrician. That's true. I forgot. Why would she need an electrician? I mean, she's supposed to be the electrician. I mean, for sure. What an idiot, man. These are the same people, though. And remember, when you go over into the ecosystem, they actually thought that you could copyright basic words. They don't understand how copyright or anything works. They think you can just go in and own a word outright. I bought the word flea. Do you think, if that were the case, do you think some mega company wouldn't have gone out and copyrighted every damn word in the dictionary? I mean, it would be one hell of a scam, right? That'd be one hell of a thing. But these idiots, they don't think. It's so amazing to me. Thanks, Arkham, for my outhouse. Yes, yes, man. We're gonna build it out back. It's gonna be nice. It is. It's gonna be nice. I can just imagine it now. I'm gonna cut one of those little moons in the door. You know, like you see in movies, they have the little vent door. I'm gonna cut a little moon into it. It's gonna be so awesome. I'm gonna put it right out by the gazebo. I'd be like, oh no, a tree fell on the outhouse. What are we gonna do? All right, I'm ended here. I don't know who's live. I'm not gonna look right now. Like I said, I've been kind of lazy about redirects, but I don't know. I just at the end of it, I'm bushed out. Hopefully, in the next week, I'll be back to. I've been getting better. Like I said, I've been getting much better. You can tell it in energy and everything else. So, but I'm gonna call it here. I appreciate you folks. Ended here. See ya.